Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Knowledge Empowers podcast. Today with you is me, Kat, 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello.
Then we have Kolaj.
Dobré ráno.
And we have a guest today with us, our friend Michal Kovac.
Hi.
And we have prepared for you guys, it will be a series, maybe just 2, maybe 3 parts, we'll see. And it's about interviews and being an interviewee and being an interviewer, and what to have on CV, what not to have CV, what are forbidden questions, what are competencies and how to prepare questions, how you prepare the answers, tips and tricks, and many more. And we have Baruch and Michal, who are currently going through the interviewing processes and applying for jobs, etc. And so I wonder, what's the market looking right now? And by saying what's the market looking right now, and we know during COVID everything was literally sort of closed, but are you even able to get an interview? And the way why I'm asking is because when I was looking for a job 3 years ago, it took me 1 year to find a job, and the market was open. And I literally couldn't figure out whether it's because of my age or because I am, as people like to say, overqualified or whatever, blah, blah. So how does it look right now? Which one of you want to start, Mishko or Baruch?
I think Baruch may start.
Okay, so I think it depends on what kind of role you are looking for, what kind of job. I think technical jobs are now very hot. Like if you are some kind of developer or data scientist, I think you would have much easier, actually very, very favorable time for these kind of roles and very highly paid. If you are other kind of role, maybe some leadership role, project management role, it's not that easy to find a job, at least from what I've seen so far.
Also, it depends on your expectations, because, for example, I have things like I'm living in Trnava and I didn't want to travel to Bratislava, so finding a job locally, it's very difficult.
So
I think it's difficult to even find a job in Bratislava. So let me ask this, Baruch, are you looking only in, let's say, Bratislava, Slovakia, or are you even applying globally?
Not globally yet. I watch some global offers, but at this point, I would like to stay in Slovakia. So I'm just keeping an eye just for having an overview of what's happening outside.
And guys, so you know, my plan is to get Baruch to South Korea, so I can go and visit her and then learn and practice my Korean. That's my wish. Okay, let's go now into further details. Mishko, you currently even have like support or preparation for interviews. What are the tips and tricks you are receiving?
Well, there is a lot of them, and there are stages. Because, for example, when I started with those consultancies, it was more about what I want. And then slowly we are coming to what I can offer. So first I had to find out what I really want, what I want to do, and what I'm expecting from the employee. It's not just what kind of job I want to get, but also what I want to earn, what are my expected benefits. And because I really had good benefits, good salary before, for me, my standard is a little bit higher. So this is where I had to actually lower my expectation in the market. And I didn't have to, but when I was reconciliating my experiences and skills, and also the thing that I want to stay in Trnava, I really had to go deeply into this salary and benefit thing. And to be honest, it took me a few weeks to get it together, because, you know, that's when you have high standard, to get used to something lower, it's very difficult.
Michal, question for you. So what benefits would you miss the most, or which one are the new ones which you're looking for?
Actually, I really like the new one, which is having a dog in workplace. And for this, actually, I was able to sacrifice something different. For example, I was on the interview with an employer from Bratislava because they've been offering that I can bring a dog to office. And I'm not looking for too much benefits because I really don't need them, to be honest. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud right now. but you know, when I see this opportunity that I will have to travel, but with my dog, that's okay for me, or I want to stay closer, so I have my dog close to me. So that's what I'm looking for right now. And there is plenty of new benefits, but I'm not interested too much into them. Of course, to be honest, work from home, I'm not counting it as a benefit too much because after Corona, it's something what is very usual in workplace.
I would say that depends on the employer.
Yeah.
The company
or Lidl probably not so much.
And because compared, like in my company, they highly recommend like it's called remote working, so really working from home, etc. So depends on the company. Some companies fully support it, some not, Corona or not. So it really depends. But it also depends on you as a person, right? So we know me, a huge extrovert that is missing people, and being already 1 year and 3 months in home, I'm just driving crazy. And my super husband, introvert, very similar to Baruch, came to me after 1 year, like, I'm missing people. And I'm like, you don't say. So that the home office really depends on the personality. So for some, it is a benefit. For others, it's like, no. Let's go further. You've said that what you can offer. So you went through the stages of first, like, what do I want? What are my expectations? And suddenly turn like what you can offer. Take us into like further details. What does that mean? What skills can you offer? And is it skills or something else?
It's everything, because employers expect different things from their employees. So based on their expectation, you are trying to fit to their advertising, because when you are checking all these offers on the internet, for example, LinkedIn or Professia, you can see what they are expecting. And then based on that, you should evaluate if this is the work you want to do. And then based on that, you are trying to fit your skills and experiences to their expectations. So this is where you can see if you are able to provide it or if you are able to learn it during the process of finding a job. So that's how it works. But really,
can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
Do you adjust your CV according to each different company? What their requests are?
Actually, I didn't, but I will have to. At this point, I'm trying to prepare several points where my skill set can fit to different job roles, because we now skipped a lot of steps between these, what I'm expecting and what I can offer. But there is also the step when you are looking for kind of jobs you want to do or what you can do, because it's not every time what you want to do, because maybe you want to be a scientist but you don't have a school. So there is without school there is like close option for you to work there. But at this point we'll find out. And for example, you mentioned that there is a lot of technical roles, and somehow it might be easier for those who understand technical stuff. And when you are looking for example, leadership role, you possibly can be a leader in any company, but you still need to know stuff, what they are doing. Because, for example, you have automotive and then you have some IT. The leading in such companies are different. So you have to somehow fit to their agenda. So based on that, when you are preparing for such interview, you might, or no, before coming to interview, actually, when you want to be invited to interview, you have to adjust the CV based on what they are asking. And these are the tricks that you are going through those descriptions of the job role. And based on that, you are adjusting your CV that you see that they are expecting this. So you find in your past what you've been doing, what's your experience, what's your skill. And based on that, you write it in the CV. So on the same role you had in your previous job, you will just adjust your experiences and skills used there.
Let's go a bit details, because let's focus on maybe 3 areas. Juniors, when you already have few years of experience, and then I will talk about all buggers like me. Let's go a little bit now technical. What do you have on your CV? What you should not have in your CV? So I will say for the juniors. So guys, if you're putting your date of birth, remove it. You are protected by law not to be discriminated. If you are a mother, remove it. Don't write your mother, you have kids, etc. You're protected by the law, at least here in Slovakia and in many countries as well.
Katka, may I open more options for this? Because
go ahead.
It shouldn't be like law, because when you are writing your CV, it should be at for you. And for example, there might be job roles where this can be a benefit that you will write it there. For example, they are looking for younger people. So if you are young and write it there, it's like benefit for you. They might notice it that you are young. Yes, we will move this person there. You don't have to write it there, but there is an option that you don't have to. You will just use it as a
correct. But when you are looking for a fresh graduate, let's say, and all you have on your CV is you just finished university, I know immediately as an interviewer you're a fresh graduate. Okay, that's the difference. But right now, I really just wanted to say what you are protected by law not to put.
Okay.
Of course, the option is always on you, whether you want to put it there or you just don't want to put it there. But if you want to, let's say, overcome the discrimination point, just simply don't put it there. Also, and Mishko, maybe you know the answer. As you are now working closely with your consultant, how many CV a company gets?
Well, I don't know answer for this. I have different answer for that actually, because my consultant mentioned to me that when they are checking CV, it will take them 7 or 8 seconds to evaluate if they will move the candidate to interview. So it means that they have a lot of them.
Stop. Let's highlight it again. He said 7 to 8 seconds. 7 to 8 seconds to evaluate. That's unbelievable. So guys, really, it's shocking, right? So you really need to work on your, let's say, is it based on the image, the way the CV looks like, or maybe skills? Highlight something, skills, something?
Oh, it depends, because, for example, for designer, it's different when you are doing statistics. But the main point is to put everything important on the left. That's what she mentioned me, because when you have 7 seconds to check the interview, to check the CV, then you are just checking the beginning of the line. So it's important to move correct data, So.
Baruch, that's what you have on your CV. You have
yes, I have it on the left. I did some research, but still I want to redo my CV, because I'm starting to have this doubt, like you cannot be just honest in your CV, right? You need to adjust. You need to cherry pick the things that you have for the role that you are applying to. So if you have, I think this is to our disadvantage for us, like the experienced people who have experience across multiple areas, let's say, that we know many things and maybe the HR is getting lost in them. Like I'm a technical person, but at the same time I have leadership skills and I have project management skills. I worked with data a bit, and I think they don't know really what I am, like if I present it this way. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Michal?
Well, all my interviews or how I present myself and my brand, I'm building it on the honesty. So I'm trying to be honest. It's pretty difficult to be honest sometimes, but when you are building your brand somehow, then you shouldn't go different ways on the different interviews. So I know that even my consultant told me that I have my intro in CV, and she told me she never saw something like that, but I should keep it there because it's different. That it may catch that they may catch that there is something different about me, and I should use it. She offered me option that I might write there something like generic, that I'm skilled team leader or whatever I was before, but the way I wrote it there, she suggested me to remove one phrase because it could be understood negatively, but the rest of it she told me to leave it there. So
Can you read it to us? Like, what
Yeah,
do you have
remember it?
Oh, I don't remember it. I can read it. Just give me a second to open it.
It was a trap.
It was what? A trap?
A trap.
No, I really want to hear it.
It's just honest thing how I started, because when I was thinking before I started to work with the consultant, I was thinking about my CV as a story. So I will just open it right now and read it for you. It's short. So about me, part is, before my adult life, I worked with horses and computers a lot. I didn't talk too much, and work with people was an unknown land for me. Ringing phone was a nightmare. Some experience that helped me to change, I listed below, and then my CV started. And what she offered me to remove there was that right now, I am the one who is scaring people with ringing phone, and sometimes I talk too much. So she told me that yes, it's nice, she understands, but somehow it might be understood like the negatively, that I am really too much talkative or something like that. That it might not be the best fit for the work I'm looking for. So,
but I love it, and maybe I love it because I know you, so I see how far you actually went and how hard you worked on yourself. So maybe for me, that I know you, I now see the path you actually went through. I love it.
yeah, so I try to use it in CV, and somehow it works. So
my question, how many CVs do you send out per day, per week, per month, whatever period you take? And how many companies reply?
Well, I prefer not to answer this question because I'm really picky. I'm not sending too much CVs, and so far I have like 100% replies. So
that's
okay,
really good.
But okay,
wow.
So at least let's say us that it's up to 10 or up to 20, up to 100,
up to 1.
up to 1.
So Baruch, how
Not even this. Okay.
I also don't send much. I think also I'm not sure if this is a good thing to have such high standards. Like because I worked abroad, like the salaries here for the same positions are nowhere near what I had in China. So I know I have to go lower on the salary front, but at the same time, I'm looking for something more, let's say, a meaningful job. And to be honest, not many companies really think this way. Like there was HR, not HR, job agency calling me like, do you want to work as a team leader for Amazon? I said, no, thank you. Because I've met people who worked there, and they were really burnt out and honestly saw no light in the future. So like this is not, I'm not even considering this.
My suggestion is don't lower your expectations. It was the same for me. Like, you guys have it harder because right now the market is opening up, but in a different direction. Compared when I was looking for a job, the whole market was fully open. But I was looking exactly like you said, Baruch. What I wanted was that these are my skills and that someone will not be scared of me or my skills and will really use them. And also in my case was that many friends recommended me. So they went through the recommendation process in the company, yet I was not even invited for an interview, even if that person recommended me, or they spoke directly to the manager. And again, I was not even, called for an interview. However, I was not giving up because I knew what I wanted, and I was lucky enough I didn't have to change. I really wanted to change until I found my boss and we had an interview. And poor girl, me being a manager at the time, and all I said was like, just please don't be scared of me. And these are my skill set. I know it's too many and maybe I know too much, etc. But all I'm looking for is being busy and that you are satisfied with the delivery. And it clicked. And it took 1 year for me. And I, at the beginning or the first 6 months, I was even talking with the recruiting manager, like, is it because of my age or should I start removing things from my CV? And we start like having this type of conversations. And he told me that really depends the companies you're looking for, because some companies are focused, for example, only on juniors. And even though they might have few senior positions there, they will not pick you because their focus is on juniors and therefore stop even applying there, etc. So also depends on what the company is looking for. So I was lucky, but I found really what I was looking for.
Maybe a follow-up question. Katka was talking about that it took a year to go for the interviews. And I've asked already about how many they replied, but how many of those that replied asked you to come to have a one-on-one? Or was there any actually of those, or they just replied by email like, thank you, we are not interested, and that's it?
In my experience, they invited me for interview. So it wasn't just a reply.
So all those companies asked you to come for the interview.
Yeah.
And did you get like an offer, or it was the answer was like, no, thank you?
No, I didn't get an offer. On the one interview, we agreed that I won't do this job because it wasn't interesting for me. I did actually, that was interview when I didn't send an CV. They invited me because they found it on Profesia. And I said that it might be an exercise for me to go for any interview because, it's good to practice it. And I wonder, I was thinking about it. I was like, no, I won't probably take it, but I will see. Maybe they will offer something. And at the end, we agreed with that she was the regional manager, and she agreed that this won't be a job for me, but she kept my CV, and she will probably move it somewhere to different because her husband is working in IT. So that's like how you can build an even network when you are looking for a job. But I wanted to add something what you mentioned that you've been looking for a long time. For example, now I'm at this stage when I'm pretty frustrated because sometimes I feel like my skill set isn't enough. But on the other hand,
why would you be frustrated, Michal?
Yeah, because when you are looking, it's like you are trying to find something perfect, but you cannot find it. So what else than frustration is remaining?
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. So it's difficult sometimes, but yeah, we shouldn't give up, so. And sometimes, for example, sorry, what's actually good for even for me that during the last 2 days, I wasn't looking for any job. I was just skipping it because I had enough for previous weeks. So.
And it's a different situation when you have a stable job and looking for a new one because you can be picky. And it's different if you're unemployed and your savings are, slowly getting cut. And if you are in this adulthood where you have to pay the mortgage and the other stuff we have to pay, that's a different story, right? Because then you are really looking for, hey, listen, I really need the job. I need to have a roof above my head. So that's a different type of a pressure. And you only know that you are limited in time until you would deplete your savings completely, which none of us wants to do, right? So these are also two different starting points whenever you're looking for a job as well. And if you are fully dependent only on yourself.
Yeah, and I'm the lucky one because I need only my dog. I can sell the house, so you know. And
take the house. I just want my dog.
Yeah, it's different if you have kids, right? That's the pressure is much higher. I think.
You need the house. You don't need the kids, right?
Sell the kids.
I didn't know if I can say it here because you know it will be broadcasted, but there are options how to sell kids.
We are just joking, people.
We can do whatever we can. We can say whatever we want. Well, guys, just so you understand, none of us has kids, so that's why we are making these silly jokes. I can't, because I really can't imagine. Okay, I do have mortgage, right? But I can't imagine that you have mortgage, you have kids, so you are suddenly responsible for other lives, or and then the pressure of jobs and stuff like that. I really can't imagine how hard you would need to work on yourself to be flexible, and you literally. You cannot get yourself into that comfort zone. Okay, I'll be just the worker, doing 9 to 5, deliver what I need to deliver so I can focus on my family. Because if crisis happens, you are exactly that type of employee that goes first, like whoosh, gone, and then oh my God, what do I do now? Where do I focus, etc. That has to be hard, but that's a different type of conversation for a different day. Let's get back to the CV and interview.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
There is this nice sentence which I heard several times, and I want to know your opinion, guys. What do you feel about when you receive from the HR or from the interviewer that you are overqualified? Katka is like, but I want to know how you would feel if you haven't received it, or if you had, how did you feel, or what was it about?
How do you even find out? I never had such feedback. So maybe
really, I did. I did.
Okay.
For me, it's my whole life. Many people said, "Oh, you need to do an university. You need to have a university degree." Guys out there, I don't have a university degree, and. But I know, of course, you need to work on your skills, because in every job I had, and I work already 22 years, so blah. Every time you have that type of a pressure, you need to work on your skills, you need to develop yourselves, because you need to go with the current changes, and changes will be there, blah, blah. And so you keep working, right? You're working on your skills. And suddenly, I start, like, in certain part, I started receiving, you're overqualified. And I'm like, where and how am I overqualified? In what area? Because as soon as you would give me that job, then you would start pressuring me. You need to go do and that education, and you need to go do and that training, because you're missing that skill and missing that. You are building me, and then you're telling me I'm overqualified. That makes literally no sense.
We need to pay you more if you're overqualified. I think that's the problem.
And that's okay, fair enough. But again, when I was looking for a job and I was a manager, I was not looking for junior position where there is a 1,500 euro offered. I was not even applying for that type of positions. I was really applying for higher, etc. Yet I was not, invited for an interview. Mm-hmm. And the funny part is, like, even now when I'm here in this company, and I work a lot with talent acquisition or the recruiters or in HR, and they just go, "Kat, I'm just so happy you're here." Oh, really? Then why no one wants to invite me for an interview? Like, we have our standards. We have some, like, I lowered my salary from where I was and where I wanted to go, because I have And we discussed this already, I think, in one of our podcasts, like how do you calculate your salary and if you're able to do the savings, etc. So I knew under which limit I cannot go. So I did lower my salary going from that company to here to get the job. That was okay. That was something I agreed with myself inside myself. But there is, I think that's the vicious circle that people keep telling you. You need to work on your skills, yet you becoming overqualified, and until you get inside of the company, and then you literally meet the people, and the people start working with you, and they start appreciating you. You are not able to get out of that vicious circle. So that's when you start removing stuff.
How did you find out? Did you get it like official response? You are overqualified?
They told me during the interview, you are overqualified. And I said, in which area am I overqualified? Because when you look at the job description they've been looking for, I'm like, that's what you wrote here, and I fulfill it. So that's why I should be the perfect match. How can I, like, it makes no sense when you tell me I'm overqualified.
You're overqualified as a human, so. Michal, any of your experience with this?
Yes, I had it written a very simple way that they wrote me that I'm too senior for position, and I still hope that it was meant that I'm overqualified, that I'm not that old, But the thing is that when I was replying to that position, half of the requirements for that, I didn't even know what they want from me. So it was like, this will be challenge for me. And then they replied that I'm too senior for such position. On one hand, it was like, I didn't understand. On the other hand, it was like, yeah, well, maybe I have some skills. So.
And Mishko, let's just say for the audience, how old are you?
36.
You're 36. When I was looking for a job or for the change, I was 38 at that time. And guys, 38 or 36 is still too young, okay? And how difficult it is to find a job. And by the time as they are currently the government moving our retirement age further and further away, I cannot imagine what it will be if I'll be 50 and will need to search for a job, and what I will go through. I can't even imagine. And that's why we need to keep that, not frustration spirit, but the positive spirit, because I really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, another question. I love forbidden questions. And this is the funny part. So before I ask forbidden question, Michal, you were the team leader. You did many interviews as well. Like, you've been interviewer. And our standards back then was, we were literally looking for this type of a skill, and you needed to have English. And we were looking whether you would fit to the team, right? But we gave chance to everyone. Am I correct? Yeah. So this is the interesting part, that how you did the interviews, and suddenly you are on the other side, and they treat you differently.
Oh, okay, so when I've been working for my previous employer, then I started as a technical person, not people person, and the thing was that I didn't know how to do interviews. So everything I learned there in my job role over time. And somehow now, when I'm on the other side, that I am one who is interviewed, then it's pretty different, because I had to focus on different stuff when I was asking the questions. And now when I'm answering them, I really have to focus on different answers, because I want to sell myself. And before, I wanted to find out what's the truth. So it's very different feeling. And I don't think that, no, it helped me. Of course, it helped me, because I was on the other side, but I haven't been thinking this way how I'm doing it right now, because right now it's more about advertising myself, building a brand, and it's very different approach. So yes, being the interviewer helped me, but now I see it's so very difficult to figure out these things we mentioned before, like what are my expectations, what I can offer for the employee. It's very different, and I realized that I'm just junior in this. Like looking for a job, I'm junior.
That's interesting way to look at it. And let me ask you, remember, we went through training, so we know what are forbidden questions. Now, when you go through the interview, do you receive forbidden questions? And if yes, what is the question and how do you answer them?
Actually, I didn't realize they've been asking me this. I think maybe they asked me about the age ones, but I'm not focused on this because I really don't care too much about this. I am the one who doesn't care, because I'm not afraid of this. If they don't want me because of the age, okay, I'm not fit. I don't even want you. But as I mentioned before, I'm picky. So once when I really want to go somewhere, I'm pretty open. If they ask me about something I shouldn't tell, I will tell them, because I cannot close my mouth anymore. So.
And guys who listen to us, so just so you know, there are so-called forbidden questions. And exactly like IT technology is moving very in a quick path to the front, same are the type of interviews. And you should rearrange yourself whenever you are doing an interview or for specific positions. And there are techniques how you do that. So one is, whenever you have a job role that you as a person open it up, it's called like capabilities, that you search for specific skills that you want that person to have for that specific job role. And based on that, you are then setting up a set of questions that you want to ask. I'll give you an example. If you're looking for a team player and you have a fresh graduate, how do you find out if that person is a team player? So you usually ask a question, whether they ever worked on a project with other students and there were more than 2 people in the group, and then how did they divide the work? How did they collaborate? How did they communicate? So that gives you at least a certain level of understanding. How did they work in a small group of people to understand how they feed and so on. So these are the capabilities and set of questions. And the forbidden questions, there are a number of them. And my favorite one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? that's a guys forbidden question, and there are multiple answers you can give. Kolach, what would be your answer on this one?
I remember what I replied on my interview on one of the interviews I've been to, when I've got this question from a manager, from my future boss, possible future boss, and I replied that I will be on his place. Like
the stupid question, stupid answer.
Yes, like whatever. So like, where do you see yourself? Well, I see myself with the company and maybe at your place. Like, why not?
And why is it forbidden question? The answer to that is because when you ask what we call stupid question or forbidden question, is because whatever answer you would receive, you literally can't get any value out of that or anything build up. So because for that specific question, you can really give numerous answers. One is like Kolach said, in your place. Another one, if I would be, for example, not interested in that job, and they would ask me this question, I would stand up and I would shake their hand and I would tell them, guys, please go on an interview techniques course and start applying new options, because you're asking me very irrelevant questions that will not give you any answer whatsoever. Go for course, goodbye. That's not the company I want to work for, because you literally have no idea how to look for skilled people. If I would want to be a smarty pants, then I would answer like, well, that's a very interesting question, but for me, it would be more important first to start and understand how this company works. Give me a chance first to apply and show my skill set on the position I'm applying for, and then discover whether you have any development workshops here, whether you have any career path and rotation possibilities, whether you have any ERGs I could apply, and show my further skills to build up my individual development plan and future career possibilities. which gives you like, wow. But again, what type of answer is that? Like nothing, right? So that's why these are forbidden questions. You can't get anything out of it. And if you have zero work experiences and you don't know how to answer those questions, you would be just looking at that person like, what? I don't know.
I would ask them, where do you see your company in 5 years?
Oh, answering question with a question. I like that. Michal, did you receive, as you are now going through those interviews, a seriously stupid question and you really wanted to answer in a stupid way?
Or a punch someone, depends. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But you know, you are very self-confident. That's something what you can do. What you described, it's somebody who can talk and who can think quickly can do. Just on the other side, imagine that you are on the interview with the company you really would like to be hired by, and then they are asking these kind of questions. Those guys on the other side of the table are the real people, and sometimes they just heard that maybe this might be the question which will help me to decide. And at that point, they are really deciding. It doesn't really matter what you are answering, they are deciding based on what you say. If you will stand up, shake their hands, and say something like that, then you just closed your option to be hired. On the other side, if I am scared, because I'm scared of some questions. For example, asking me why I am not employed right now. For me, I was answering honestly, but honesty wasn't the positive way. So I have to think how I will answer this kind of question, because they are asking it everywhere. And because I'm honest, that doesn't mean I'm negative all the time. But when I'm answering it the way how it was, it might look negative. So I had to think about this question and think about how to answer it the positive way. So doesn't matter what kind of question is scaring anybody else. It's good to prepare for that. If you know if that what you are doing, what you will be doing in 5 years is scary question for you, you should prepare for that. And I believe there is the way how you can get the credit for your answer. Doesn't matter that it will be like stupid question. It might help you to get the job. So.
And you've said exactly that the interviewers are the decision makers or making decisions based on your answer. Guys, interview is not a one-way interview. Interview is both way. So exactly the way you are trying to sell yourself, show them your brand, it's exactly that the company or those two representatives there are representing the company to you, the way they are selling the company to you, to really help you to consider, even if you get the offer at the end, would you take that job? Is that the company you want to work at? I was once in an interview. I was still junior and only worked maybe 5 years. That was it. And I was applying for a job to be an assistant to a VP. And I got the offer. And I said no. And the girl who gave me that offer was shocked. And literally, she was like, what do you mean no? I just gave you an offer. And I said, well, thank you very much for the offer, but I'm saying no. But we gave you this is a VP. I don't care who that person is. I'm saying no. And I think she was not prepared for an answer to receive no. And it really showed me the behavior. I'm like, good decision. I said no, because that could be future behavior in the company as well, and so on.
Based on what you did say no?
Because my husband was working at that company at the time, and that wasn't the path actually I wanted to go. I really.
Why did you go for the interview?
Because it's same like what Michal said. You just go for an interview to also practice. And if you want to sound confident and you don't want to be scared, like Michal said, now you are super smart, like you can give very quick answers. But my quick answers came with my experience, and I do hundreds of interviews, being team leader, manager, right now, I do really hundreds. And so I know how to answer things and etc. But to get to that level, Remember my first interview, I was shaking. You couldn't see me shaking, but inside I was like, I really wanted to show my best, etc. And nowadays I just go, for me, interview is more like a dialogue between two people, and each of us is representing something else. But that came with an experience. And to have that experience, the best thing is, even if you are employed, go for an interview just for the fun of it, to learn what the market is looking for, what are the latest questions people are asking. Because the worst case scenario that can happen to you, and it happened in my first company I worked at once I came from abroad to Slovakia, when suddenly the department that we were part was released, the organization was closed, and a girl was looking for her job the first time after 19 years.
Wow.
And she was so scared. And I literally, when she went on an interview, I had to take her, put her in the car. I drove her to that interview, took her out of the car. I put her in front of the door. I ring the bell and I hide myself. She was that scared. By the 12th interview, she came like, yeah, this was awesome. We had a coffee. We had a very nice discussion. Nowadays, she has a really good job. She really found something she was looking for. It really balanced her family time and the work time, build up her career up to the leading the team, etc. But don't get yourself into that type of position that you are so scared.
Mhm.
That's the worst, because you also have the option to say no.
And as you mentioned, it's easier when you are employed, because it means that you will just have to stay in the same company. So
Exactly. Exactly. And maybe that's how we're going to end up today's podcast. Listen to us in a future, I wanted to say, next Monday, because we will be talking about the point of view being an interviewer. So how are you looking at the interviewee and setting up more questions, etc. Stay tuned, and I'm saying annyeong.
Bye-bye.
Do widzenia.
ciao, ciao.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.